The Shadow from Above, unveiling the legend and science of Haast's eagle. The history of New Zealand is one of biological isolation, leading to the evolution of some of the most unique and formidable creatures the world has ever seen. Among these, none command as much primal dread as the Haast's eagle, Haast Maori. For the first Maori settlers who arrived on the islands approximately 700 to 800 years ago, the sky was not just a source of weather, but a source of lethal danger. This article explores the intersection of indigenous oral tradition, evolutionary biology, and the haunting archaeological evidence that confirms the existence of a true man-eating giant. The evolution of a giant. Before humans reached New Zealand, the islands were a land of birds. In the absence of terrestrial mammals, birds filled every ecological niche. The flightless moa, some standing over 3 meters tall, became the primary herbivores. To hunt such massive prey, nature produced a specialized aerial assassin. DNA studies conducted by modern geneticists suggest a startling fact. The Haast eagle evolved from the little eagle, Haast morphnoides, one of the world's smallest eagles. In an evolutionary blink of an eye, perhaps just a few million years, the species underwent a massive increase in size, a phenomenon known as island gigantism. By the time of its peak, the female Haast eagle weighed up to 15 kilograms, nearly 40% heavier than the largest living eagle today, the harpy eagle. The mechanics of the kill. The Haast eagle was not a scavenger. It was a high-performance predator designed for forest hunting. Its wingspan, while reaching up to 3 meters, was relatively short for its weight, allowing it to maneuver through dense vegetation with surprising agility. Its true weapons were its talons. Measuring as long as a tiger's claws, these talons were capable of exerting immense pressure, designed to strike the pelvis or head of a moa and kill it instantly upon impact. Forensic analysis of moa bones reveals deep puncture wounds that match the beak and claw structure of the Haast eagle, proving that this bird could take down prey 15 times its own weight. When legends become reality. For generations, anthropologists listened to Maori stories of the Pouakai, or Haast, a giant bird with colorful feathers that lived in the mountains and descended to carry off children and warriors. For a long time, Western science categorized these stories as myth, much like dragons or griffins. However, the discovery of well-preserved skeletons in the 19th century began to bridge the gap between folklore and fact. The timing of the eagle's extinction coincides perfectly with the arrival of humans and the subsequent disappearance of the moa. As the moa were hunted to extinction by humans, the Haast eagle lost its primary food source. In its final decades, hungry and desperate, this apex predator likely turned its sights towards the new, smaller bipeds wandering the forests, the Maori people. The psychology of the aerial predator. There is something uniquely terrifying about being hunted from above. Our evolutionary history as primates has left us with a deep-seated fear of large raptors. For the early Maori, this fear was a daily reality. To be struck by a Haast eagle was to be hit by a weight equivalent to a falling concrete block, armed with razor-sharp steel. The strike would have been silent, coming from the blind spot directly above. This explains why the Pouakai is depicted in Maori rock art and oral history not just as an animal, but as a supernatural force of nature. The legacy of the Pouakai. The extinction of the Haast eagle around the year 1400 AD marked the end of an era. It was the last of the giant raptors, a casualty of a collapsing ecosystem. Today, we look at the remains of these birds in museums and feel a sense of awe mixed with relief. Their story serves as a potent reminder of how quickly an apex predator can vanish when its environment is disturbed. But more importantly, it validates the collective memory of the Maori people. The legends were not fantasies. They were survival guides, passed down to warn future generations of the terror that once ruled the New Zealand skies. In the modern world, we often feel we have conquered nature, Yet this story of the Haast eagle reminds us of a time when we were still part of the food chain. It invites us to look up at the sky and wonder what it felt like to see a shadow growing larger, knowing that the most dangerous hunter in the world had just locked its gaze on you.